Cobb TV. Watch your life make sense.
Hello everyone, thank you for joining us. Welcome to another show of Ask the Kabbalist, and with me as usual is Kabbalist Dr. Michael Laitman. Hello Rav Laitman.
Hello everyone.
Before we'll begin with our first question, I'd like to remind you as always that you can send your questions, and you do that by going to tv.Kabbalah.info. And on that site you can find our Ask the Kabbalist page, where there's a very user-friendly interface allowing you to send questions over video, audio, or even type them using your keyboard only. So again, that's tv.Kabbalah.info, and we'll begin right away with our first question, which is coming from California. And this is a video question. Let's watch it.
My name is Katie from California. And my question is, what is the source of happiness?
The source of happiness is the upper light that has created our desire, our nature. And only if it fulfills that nature can we be happy. Thus we have to learn, how can we fulfill ourselves by that upper light, by that upper abundance that's right here in front of us, but unfortunately we don't know how to use it. Thus there's the wisdom of Kabbalah, a very unique method, and that's why it's called Kabbalah, from the Hebrew word lekabel, to receive. How to receive all the good and pleasure and abundance which is right here, but we don't know how to attain it.
But you know, this is something that every person asks, how can I be happy? And really, when you say that there's a source, upper force, or a creator that all he wants is to do good, it begs the question, if that's all he wants, then why do we see suffering in our life? Why do we not see that, you know, that everything is joyful and happy?
We have to be hungry for it. As simple as that.
What do you mean by hungry?
Hungry meaning I really have to have a crave for that happiness, for that good that He wants to give us. In the meantime, we're just like babies. We want small toys, plastic dolls, plastic airplanes, to play with small plastic things, and the Creator, He wants us to grow. He wants us to reach a state where we will want real things, eternal life, eternal fulfillment. Where is all that? It's all in the happiness, but we have to want it.
I want it. Everyone wants it.
No. Incorrect.
Why not?
If you want it, you would have revealed it and got it. The only problem is the lack of desire. So we're merely developing up to the point where we'll want what we need, and then we'll get it. Let's put it this way. There are many examples that the Kabbalist Bala Sulam left us. The king wanted to give his son all of his kingship, everything. But he's a small child, he doesn't know anything, and also can't enjoy different things. He's also a bit foolish, and he can't govern the country and enjoy the power and wealth, everything in the treasure. So what do? He teaches him. He puts pressure on him in order for him to learn and grow. And then, when he's worthy, then he is being given over the kingship.
So what does it mean to be worthy? To be worthy of receiving everything the king has to offer?
That is exactly what Kabbalah makes out of a person. That's precisely the method of how to extend our kli, our vessel, in order to reach such a great desire and these very special, unique things which were pre-made for us and exist in the world of infinity. Eternal fulfillment, wholeness, perfection, everything. But we don't want it. We want to be satisfied by the least in the meantime. I don't need the big things, let me enjoy the small things. And we're not let to enjoy these small things in order for us to grow. You see, you can't enjoy that, so you advance. Look, why did we come out of the caves?
Well, I guess because we wanted to develop, we wanted to be safer.
Why did we want to develop? Because we were not let to enjoy staying in caves. No, I need an apartment, something modern on the 50th floor, with a radio and television and different things, computer and airplanes and ships and everything. What for? We've gradually developed because in each and every state we felt no satisfaction, and thus we've developed. Also now, we're standing on the verge of a spiritual development. It's a very special stage. We're starting to develop now with the question of what is the meaning in life. We've never asked that question. Unique individuals around the world, philosophers used to ask that question. Yes.
Artists.
Yes. And now, everyone's starting to ask that question. It's this dryness we have in life, the impatience, the lack of satisfaction, depression that's roaming the world, and so on and so forth. And that's where the question of what is the meaning in life comes from. And from that question of what is the meaning in life, we start understanding that there is truly an entirely different level of life, eternal, whole and perfect. But we have to acquire a desire for it. First of all, want that life, and in order to want it correctly, either we advance towards it by nature, which is called in its time, which means through the natural course of time, or through the wisdom of Kabbalah, which is something very easy and fast, and is called the way of hastening. Why is it called the wisdom of Kabbalah? I'm reminding you once again. It teaches us how to receive all the abundance in nature.
I think that we have a question from another video question from Mark. He's from Illinois, and I think it continues the same subject.
Hi, my name's Mark. I'm from Quincy, Illinois, and I would like to know if the Kabbalist could define spirituality, and is that something that I can attain in my lifetime?
Only in our lifetime do we attain spirituality, either in this life or in the next incarnation. If you're already in touch with this method, then through this method, in this incarnation, for sure can you achieve spirituality. And then, not to feel that you die. The body, it passes away, but you who have acquired the degree of the speaking of the human, Adam, doesn't die. That's the first thing. The other thing is that everyone has to reach that same degree, same feeling of eternal life, what we call spiritual life. And what else did he ask?
And he asked if you can define what spirituality is, which ties into the first question.
Spirituality, it means that I transcend life in my own body to a level where I live in soul and I feel myself not limited by this animalistic body, whether it lives or dies. My I is in the desires and the aspirations on a completely different degree called Adam, from the Hebrew meaning similar to the Creator, truly becoming like Him, eternal, whole, above death.
What does it mean to be outside of my body? You use that concept quite a lot. What does it mean?
Outside my body, it means instead of receiving, absorbing, constantly being introverted, being extroverted, aimed outwards, bestowing. It's a different perception of reality. That's all we do, actually. We change our vector, the direction of our perception, and by this we entirely change the way we feel reality.
And how does Kabbalah give you the ability to do it? Does it tell you how to do it? Like 1, 2, 3, you have to do 1, 2, 3? Or is there a different method here? What is the mechanism that gives you this extra perception?
The mechanism, I'd say, it's comprised of two systems. One system is mine, and another system, which is not mine, an upper system, where I, by different special actions which are at my disposal, I and other people around me, we organize such a relationship by which we awaken the upper mechanism in the relations between us in a so-called group. We create a kind of a transmitter, a kind of an amplifier, and a place which as if sends waves, sends deficiency to an upper spiritual mechanism, and from there, according to what we want to receive, we get into ourselves, amongst us, these changes, and these changes occur, take place in us, and we become spiritual entities as a result, meaning there are two mechanisms here. We, and the connections between us, create such a force that operates the upper mechanism. From the upper mechanism comes down a force upon us, corrects us, and in this loop we work in between these two systems, or the two worlds.
Okay, so the method is practiced with other people in a group or in some sort of a setting of a social setting. And what is that force or that system? Can you describe it that you get in touch with? What is it?
The system is the one godly force, but he is one, and thus I have to create in my realm the same essence of the one. One, it means although it's comprised of few, those few become as one. That means one. If I simply take some one thing, it's called single. It's not one. One meaning being bonded together as one. And thus I have to create such a power of connection. And by this unification, through the connection, through the so-called arvut, the mutual guarantee, to the extent to which we're connected, I awaken the upper force by that law of equivalence of form. It works on us, and it fulfills those included in the notion of the one, and thus we feel inside us spiritual life.
Okay, and this is something Kabbalah says that eventually the whole of humanity should become, yes?
All of humanity has to come together as one man in one heart, as it says in the Bible, like all religions say, because it's the foundation of humanity, love another as thyself, the connection among all people, and eventually everyone will come to that. And every religion thinks that they're right, that they have the right method. The wisdom of Kabbalah is beyond religions. It says there's a natural law, and we have to work accordingly.
This is actually very interesting what you just said, because it is the love thy friend as thyself is the major tenet of all the religions, but here you're saying that it's not referred to as something ethical or something moral. It is really nature's
not
system.
At all. Yes, not at all. It's a part of the upper nature, the law of love, of bonding, and we have the opposite nature, the law of hatred and separation. And if we understand that in order to ascend from our terrible life to the whole perfect and eternal life is to bond, exactly like the current crisis, the whole state in the world already shows us, obliges us.
Yeah, we're seeing the exact opposite. We're seeing that we're more alienated, isolated, hateful towards each other.
True, but along with it, we see that we must bond, otherwise we won't be able to make it in a global, integral world. And thus, we need the wisdom of Kabbalah, if only to save ourselves in this world from different calamities, all the more that you have the ability to achieve whole, eternal, and perfect life.
This sounds beautiful. I hope we can reach it soon. There's
undoubtedly.
We have to.
It's not up to us. It's the law of nature that we have to get there. The wisdom of Kabbalah merely helps us make this path easier.
Okay, we have a question coming from a bit of a different topic. This one is also a video question. It's coming from Ramon Velarde from San Diego, California. It's about cloning and stem cell research. Sounds interesting. Let's watch it.
My name is Ramon Velarde, and I am from San Diego, California. My question is regarding stem cell research and cloning. If and when we decide to clone a human being, would Kabbalah view a cloned human as a totally new entity with a different and unique soul? Or is this new being an exact replica of the cell donor in all aspects, even spiritual ones? Thank you.
Very good. Thank you for your very concrete question, and I hope I will be able to give the same answer. A, whatever we do, may we not delude ourselves that we do it. Nonetheless, it's all made from above. Even if we do things that seem to us as if against nature, we destroy nature, ecology, and so on, that's also made so from above for us to learn something by that. And the same with genetic cloning. If we'll start cloning and making copy-paste from each and every person, that's also made so from above, and that's also part of the plan of creation. We'll have to learn something from that in a good way and not such a good and pleasant way. But again, don't think that we're outside of nature and we're doing whatever we feel like.
So whatever we do, it's in
no such
nature's
thing.
plan.
We are inside this bubble called nature, and we work according to all these laws, and even all the confusions and mistakes and all the good things, and everything is inside our own nature, inside what we do. And so don't think that if we'll make genetic cloning as if there's something to it, that I start being like the creator above nature or something. It's also, wait, I'll ask you something else. When a man and his wife go into their bedroom and do some of their own cloning, isn't that pre-planned on behalf of nature? Is there something special, different about it? What's the difference? That happens more naturally like a beast, and that's not so regularly. But we're acting according to the laws of nature. That's what I want to emphasize, and that's it. That's the first thing. The other thing is, with respect to the souls, no one has a soul. Ramon, calm down. Really. No one has a soul. A soul is what we make ourselves. We correct in order to have a soul. A soul is the spiritual life, whole, perfect, eternal life which we have to attain. We only have a point, a beginning. The question of what is the meaning in life? What do I aspire for? A different life, higher than this life, beyond the mere animalistic life. And thus, even a person who is born from a man and a woman, or a man who was created in lab conditions,
in some lab.
Both have the same opportunity to achieve a soul.
Even if I'm a cloned human being?
No difference. What's the difference? You're cloned or not? You're the same beast that has the ability to achieve that part called Adam, from the Hebrew meaning similar to the Creator. Do not ascribe to our body something divine that cannot exist in a person coming out of a laboratory through genetic
it's the same
cloning.
animal,
Same.
you're saying.
Even if you take the same substances from nature, you don't take something else. It's like the drop of a semen, of a male semen, enters the woman's womb and starts developing. It's the same here. We don't do anything. We really take a stem cell. We can take any cell, even a part of it, even a part of a part, the tiniest part, and start. But that's already from nature. You're not like the Creator creating existence from absence. You're taking existence from existence.
So we're not inventing anything here.
True. And thus don't look at it as something strange. It's the same, simply a bit of a different form. So what? These days, we can grow a human in an incubator. Surrogacy These are things that Kabbalah doesn't refer to that as to something strange or weird.
What if, let's look at this scenario, a little imaginary, but let's say that humanity realizes that Kabbalists are important for our general development of humanity. And they decide that if there is a Kabbalist, a true Kabbalist with a soul, with a developed soul in the world, they want to clone him as well. Will we have more Kabbalists that way? No?
Really, what does it have to do with the body? How will you clone a soul? You can't clone a soul. A soul is something which we acquire. The cloning of the soul means the duplication of the soul. It means that you build the future degrees of its development. The soul comes from the root. There's the general soul called Adam, and it has many particular souls. We call them dots. And those dots, points, we have to develop to achieve a state where each point will be connected to all the rest of the points into one system, a spiritual body, one spiritual body, and that whole body, consisting of many points, will function harmoniously as a combined, well-working, corrected system. So it turns out that each one of us takes part in the correction of these souls, and there is an incarnation of the soul. We're not talking about these bodies that we change, die, and again. No, it has nothing to do with the body. The body, it dies, and that's that. It rots, and you can burn it, or put it in acid, and there will be nothing left of it. Okay? There's no difference. It's the incarnations of the souls which exist. Those very points in that system of Adam, they have to achieve a state where they're all corrected, existing in harmonious work amongst them, and then inside that entire system amongst them is revealed the upper light, the upper force called the Creator. That's what we have to do. Thus, we needn't pay any attention to our bodies. We have to pay all of our attention only to that system called Adam, and to try and build it, try and fulfill it, comprise it like a beautiful, eternal, whole and complete Lego, and for it to be our home.
No, it sounds like the whole difference is in our perception, in our attention. It's a shift in what's important to us. Do you think that we could use something like the media in our world, or something like, the press and TV and everything? Would we be able to use these tools to influence ourselves, to change our perception towards that kind of shift you're talking about?
Undoubtedly. Undoubtedly. Because the media, it's a very active environment. It's very strong.
Aggressive, yes. It's
also aggressive, correct. And thus, to use it in order to advance humanity towards a goal that we have to achieve nonetheless, and instead of getting there through a long, hard way, to get there in a short, happy way, of course the media can help this a lot. Let's hope that there will come a time that we'll be able to work together with them, and they'll understand that in their hands they have the ability to help humanity and not do what they do today, unfortunately.
Could be a real device for changing our aspirations,
yes. And not only the media, but all the systems that engage in education, culture, all the things that we're inside of, meaning the environment. Of course, radio, television, newspapers, internet, to change it such that we'll hear and see there the right influence, target it. We would have very quickly revealed eternal life, perfect fulfillment, no one's suffering, and in general, transcending all these evil games on the animalistic living level. And of course, all this depends on how will we use our environment, but that is a topic per se.
Yes, indeed. Okay, I'd like to thank you very much, Dr. Laitman, for being with us. I want to thank you for watching, and I want to invite you again to send in your questions. It's at tv.Kabbalah.info. When you go there, you'll see our Ask the Kabbalist page, and you can send your questions, whether it's a video question or an audio question or even a text question. We'll be happy to ask them here and ask Rav Laitman to answer them for you. So thank you very much. Until next time, all the best.